Hi everyone, happy Wicked Wednesday and welcome to Shivers. Today I want to talk about some holiday traditions that many of us celebrate this time of year, why we celebrate them, focusing on the folklore behind Christmas themes specifically and talking through their dark and spooky origins. For Christmas in particular, this was truly derived from a celebration called Saturnalia, which was held in mid-December and was an ancient Roman pagan festival honoring the agricultural god Saturn. It was a week-long lawless celebration held between December 17th and 25th, where no one could be prosecuted for killing, raping, theft, anything usually against the law. It was basically a week-long purge. Because of when the holiday occurred near the winter solstice, Saturnalia celebrations became the source of many of the traditions we now associate with Christmas, such as wreaths, candles, and feasting. Saturnalia was officially banished as a holiday and absorbed into Christmas in 336 AD by Pope Julius I to honor both Jesus and Saturn in one holiday. For the winter solstice, every year the winter solstice is on December 21st and used to be celebrated by calling it Yule or Yuletide, which was a celebration that happened since 1425. Today, many pagans still celebrate Yule on the day of the winter solstice. Pagans celebrate the rebirth of the sun through gift exchanges, merriment, and deep spiritual reflection. This is a time of new beginnings, rebirth, transformation, joy, and getting rid of unwanted habits. As Christianity swept the European nations, the Yuletide celebrations were absorbed into Christmas, which is where we get New Year's resolutions from, and where we even get the term Merry Christmas from. For the tradition of gift giving, this is derived from Saturnalia and also from Yule and Yuletide. So from Saturnalia, schools were closed, criminals were allowed to run rampant, and the wealthy were encouraged to give gifts to the poor in order to avoid robbery. From the Yuletide celebrations, this was the first celebration on record to reveal a gift exchange between two people, exchanging energies in the form of physical presents. For the tradition of hanging stockings, in the early 1800s, people would hang their socks and stockings over their fireplaces to dry. One night on Christmas Eve, it's said that St. Nicholas came down the chimney and dropped pieces of gold on his way, being placed into the stockings as he climbed out. Since then, people of all ages have been hanging stockings for St. Nick in hope that he will slip in some gold. For the tradition of Christmas caroling, which is what surprised me, I think, the most out of all of these dark origins, Christmas carolers were typically poor or homeless townsfolk, and they targeted houses that seemed to have lots of food or lots of money. People would distract the owners and sing to them out front, while other members of the group would break into the home through the back and steal. For the tradition of Santa coming down the chimney, Scottish and English legends tell of a helpful household spirit that enters and exits the homes at night through a chimney. In the Middle Ages, witches were also thought to pass into homes through chimneys. In Greece, goblins were known to crawl into homes through chimney and terrorize the families within. In America, it's said that goblins slipped down chimneys to reward good children with oranges and punish naughty ones with whip. These goblins would watch the families throughout the year and make their judgments on solstice. Thus, the tradition of good or bad news floating down a chimney stuck onto Santa based on this time of year. For the idea of elves, in Scandinavian and Germanic folklore, Yule lads, or elves, were gnomes with magical powers to protect homes from evil spirits during the solstice time. They also used their magical powers to pull pranks on bad people, such as giving them hiccups and bad dreams. It was also believed that if you placed a bowl of porridge in front of your door at night, you'd avoid being the victim of the elves' pranks. Hence the tradition of leaving food out on Christmas Eve, since Santa himself is also considered an elf. These elves visit homes from December 12th to the 24th to leave presents and play pranks, hence the 12 days of Christmas. For the tradition of Christmas trees, this roots all the way back to the Egyptians, who would fill their homes with green plants to remind the sun to shine once more and bring fruitfulness to their harvest. The Celts decorated their druid temples with evergreen boughs, which signified everlasting life. The tree decorating we see today has its roots in paganism, where the pagans would bring a wooden tree into the house to keep the earth spirits warm during the cold months. They would hang food and treats from the branches for spirits to eat, and bells for spirits to chime to show appreciation to the tree owner. A 5-pointed star or a pentagon was traditionally placed on the top of the tree to represent all 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, space. Getting into our true grand finale of Santa. So the tradition of Santa comes from St. Nicholas, and St. Nicholas was a very nice monk who traveled town to town dispersing his wealth to children and those in need. After his death, the townsfolk honored and celebrated him on December 6th each year by giving gifts and toys to children in his name. In the year 1770, a Dutch family immigrated to America and brought their celebratory traditions with them, and a wood carving of St. Nicholas as a round, white-haired man spreading Sinterklaas, which is St. Nicholas in Dutch, directly translating to English as Santa Claus, to Americans. In the year 1822, the well-known tale, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," was written, giving magical powers to the Santa figure, flying with reindeer and going down the chimney. In 1840, the first commercialized Santa was created and displayed at a shopping mall in Philadelphia, bringing people from all over to see the character while also being encouraged to do some shopping. It wasn't until the year 1940 that the story of Rudolph was born, taking the story of reindeer and accounting for the need for light. Thus, Christmas we know today was truly born. The most sinister and true grand finale of this holiday tradition list is Krampus, the tradition of Krampus. St. Nicholas was said to have a counterpart, a creature named Krampus, a half-man, half-goat creature whose lore was born in Austria as the result of a paganistic practice on the solstice, bringing him to earth from hell. On the night of December 5th, the eve of St. Nicholas's death, good children would receive presents from St. Nick, and bad children would be snatched by Krampus, waking on December 6th to find goodies for themselves or find themselves in hell. In Austria, Krampusnacht was born, the night where parents would dress as Krampus to scare their children into behaving. This custom still exists today in Austria and Germany, and Americans didn't become aware of it or really become aware of Krampus himself until the year 2004. It was also said that holiday cards started because Krampus and St. Nick would leave notes in people's mailboxes or on their doorsteps that said greetings from St. Nick or greetings from Krampus. And if you received one from Krampus, then you could ideally prepare for your children to get snatched, or you, the child, could be prepared to get snatched by Krampus. So if you Google any pictures of Krampus, you will see Gris von Krampus, and it's almost always the same picture, but Gris von Krampus is directly translated to greetings from Krampus. So that's also where we get holiday card giving from, and the tradition of Santa, Krampus, and all of the above. So thank you for listening to today's Wicked Wednesday. That is a list of the majority of our Christmas traditions and their folklore and their backgrounds. It's very interesting information to me, and that's why I really wanted to put it together. I did a longer presentation on the history of horror, history of these holiday traditions last week, and so if you're interested in hearing more in detail about these traditions and things, then reach out and I will send you a recording, or we can get it scheduled once again. But either way, thank you for listening to today. Remember some of these traditions when you're hanging up your stockings and wrapping your gifts. For those of you who want to continue talking about all things spooky, you can sign up for the Shivers meetup page and be actively part of the conversations and discussions. I hope you all enjoy your day and continue doing some great shopping and organization for the holiday season.